ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. So we've had a look at the new Chinese tier 10. We've gave our honest review on the tank, and if you want to check that out, obviously it was a couple of days ago, so do go check that out. So now we're going to look at the tier 9 and talk about, is it any better than the tier 10 version. So the tank in question is the WZ-132A. So I mean, again, along the lines of the same kind of lines as the tier 10, I'm not a great lover of the Chinese lights in general. It doesn't mean that they're bad tanks, it just means that my play style don't kind of match the tank. So I'm not saying that they are bad tanks. I'm just saying that the play style for these tanks are not like my kind of play style. So I'm going to try and give it a review, not based on my play style, but based on how the general public will see the tank. So overall, the tier 9 isn't bad. It isn't bad. I think maybe it could be just as good, if not better, than the tier 10, only because you come up against tier 8s, and that's literally the only thing. So of course the turret's not as strong on the tier 9. It still has the new mechanic where you are spotted for just 7 seconds. So yeah, but you're going to come up against tier 8s. But in this situation with these kind of tanks, doesn't really matter because no matter what you come up against, everything's going to penetrate you. Now I had a game just not long ago trying to get the footage, and there was a platoon in the enemy team, one in a tier 8 and one in a tier 7. Now the tier 7 was a type 62 dragon. He bullied me. I'm a tier 9 and he absolutely bullied me. So that is I mean, a lot of it was my fault. It's not just the tank, but it just goes to show that even tier 7s can bully these tanks when they needed to. So again, I would probably run this with calibrated shells. Currently I don't. I'm running it with the rammer. So my DPM is 2,900. Again, like the tier 10 version, is not bad for a tier 9 light tank. Your reload is 6.8 seconds. Penetration 227 on your AP, 285 on your APCR, and 55 on your HE. So because of the APCR, to be honest, I wouldn't even run it with calibrated shells, and that's my personal opinion, because you don't gain as much pen when you've got APCR. You gain much more pen if you've got heat with the calibrated shells, because that's how it works. So your damage, again, you do have the higher alpha gun, which is 330. It is kind of nice, and 280 on your APCR, 420 on your HE. Again, your aim time is really, really nice at 2.3. Dispersion not so good at 0.335, and it only has 5 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 65 kilometers per hour. Now again, just like the tier 10 version, I potentially would run it with a refined gun, because your aim time is already good. Even at 2.5, it is already good. So you don't need to make it even better. You can just make your dispersion better, and then you've got good dispersion, or decent dispersion, and decent aim time. So I would probably run it with the refined gun. So let's just have a quick look. I mean, I've only had a couple of games in it. It feels okay. I mean, this game here, very, very easy. Very, very easy. And when you get no tanks looking at you, then it does become very easy indeed. So it is dead rail. The enemy only have one light tank. We have a light tank and a medium tank. So unless they all decide to push this way, I can't see the enemy light tank, the T-49, coming this way on his own. So, of course, he's going to go with his team. Now, what that does is give me a free roam into their spawn. And when you're in a light tank in the spawn behind the enemy, yeah, it's very enjoyable, because nobody actually looks at me, and I'm able to farm. Literally, I do a little bit of damage, and I'm able to completely farm almost every single bit of that damage. So, of course, the tank is better when no tank is looking at you. Any tank looks good if if the enemy are not looking at you, because basically it is kind of free damage. However, we are now one tank down, so I do need to do a little bit of damage, and now there is 2 tanks down, and I am spotted. So I do need to bear that in mind, which is why I am using this this rock here, because I know that there is an ISU 152. So I'm going to go for that shot there. And I mean, 363 isn't bad, and when you switch to the HE and do 414 for a normal light tank, it is not bad at all. So it is kind of nice when you do manage to get them high rolls. So far we are losing on supremacy points. It is a 4 versus 5. I'm going to get one shot there into the ISU, and there goes the CC mark. So it is now down to a 4 versus 5. However, I was spotted. What I don't want to do is find myself, because they know I'm here, what I don't want to do is let them come to me, because if they all push me, I could be in a bit of trouble. So the E75 there is there. I do have a little bit of cover from this guy here, the T54 Mod 1. No idea what he is intended to do. There's a few tanks around him. No idea what actually he wants to do, because yeah, he's not going to last very long. And because he died, or because he's going to die, that now leaves me on my own, or this side of the map, against 4 tanks. So of course I'm going to see if I can get one shot off. There goes the ISU 152. Unfortunately, I missed my shot on the T49, but I am now spotted. The T49 and the E75 were both heading this way. So I'm like, okay, I need to kind of get out of there. I'm not sure where the G-Saw is, because that is the last remaining tank destroyer. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to run away. I don't want to take any chances whatsoever. And then when I'm looking, I'm thinking, okay, you know what, the E75 stopped. He's now very low hit points. I'm just going to go back. I'm unspotted. He thinks maybe I am gone. No idea where the T49 is gone, because he hasn't come this way. So maybe now I can start making a push on the E75. Considering he is very, very low hit points, I am now going to make my move. So there's the T49. Not really too worried about him at this point in the game. I am still full hit points. I do manage to get a lucky track, and there goes the T49, just leaving this G-Saw left alive. And look at that burn, 600 damage. So I can manage to clear him very, very quickly. So he's now a one shot, and we are now able to just to get the final shot and the final kill. So I mean, 4k damage. I did not do anything that game. It was an easy 4k damage. Now, again, just like the tier 10 version, as I've said, if no one's looking at you, then you can have a whale of a time, because the DPM is pretty solid. Just like you did see in that game, I managed to farm tanks, and because your reload isn't very high, it's quite a low reload, and then you've got the higher alpha gun as well. So if no one's looking at you, then you are able to farm some damage. But the whole point of this tank is to spot and then move out the way. Don't be front line in any of these tanks, because you will absolutely get wrecked. If the enemy push you and you are front line, then you will be destroyed very, very quickly. So just don't be front line. Whatever you do, be behind your team. Let them take the shots. Let your heavies or your mediums take the shots. There's some mediums out there which will take the shots, you know, like E50Ms, strong if you're in obviously against tier 10 tanks like that, tanks with better armor, because you would rather the enemy look at an E50M than they would look at you, because they're just going to pen you, and an E50M can actually get some block damage. So there's the Hori TI. So he's come in the middle. Now his team, our guy here, which is Josh, a good friend of the channel, his team are all over the place. So he needs to make that decision as where he's going to go. So he's decided to go to the middle. And again, you don't have any gun depression whatsoever. So do bear that in mind when trying to get into certain positions. So again, he's in a good position now, because he is here with the Hori, and if he needs to get around any side of the map, he can do. If he needs to go right very quickly, he can do. If he needs to go left very quickly, he can do. And he now just catches this guy off guard. Can't really do anything, this Hori, so he is going to get the kill and then run away. So that at least brings one tank down. And again, I hate these kind of battles, because what way do you go? Do you go and help the heavies, or do you go help the other side of the map? So of course he's going to do what he thinks is the best choice and to try to keep this M103 alive. And of course, the Turtle Mark 1 there isn't looking, so that is a free kill. And then he's going to move on to the next target, another tank that is not looking at him, and that is the Lerva. So again, just like me, he's getting free damage here, but he's getting himself into the positions where he can get this free damage. And before you know it, it is a 3 versus 4. And the enemy have 2 supremacy bases, so you do have to bear that in mind. Now, luckily, the Batchat, he's a very, very quick tank. It's another light tank. He's just been bullied and he's lost a lot of his hit points. So he's going to now try to protect A. And of course, it is the Waffle. So you don't want to be shot from a Waffle because he will do some damage. But even at this point, if you switch to the HE, you probably take 1 shot. Because of your reload, if you can get the HE, you might take 1 shot. And he's took that shot and it was only 200 damage. So now he is going to go for the push. While the Waffle was on a reload, he is going to go for a push. But by the time he gets there, he's already dead. So 3.2k damage done. It is now a 3 versus 3, but they still need to hurry up and make a move because of the supremacy bases. But there goes the Batchat, leaving just the Progetto and the WZ-111. So the Waffle is now back capping base A, which at least stops or at least gains them some supremacy points, and the WZ there is now a 1 shot. So the Tiger is about to die, so he really needs to take care of this WZ. He does take the hit, but that was actually probably a good hit point trade because he has managed to clear that guy, now bringing it down to a 2 versus 1. Now, the Progetto here could probably clip him out. If he's got 3 shells, he probably could clip him out. Then if he gets clipped out, even though the Waffle is quite healthy, anything could happen because all he's got to do then is run away. So sadly, he has to run away because there is 2 tanks around, so he can't really do too much damage. And thanks to the speed and the DPM, he's also managed to bully the Progetto. So he is going to poke up, he's going to take the shot, but he does get the kill. 6 kills for our guy. Very, very well played. And that gameplay there is probably the best way to play this tank. You know, don't sit in one position, move around the map, because if you sit in one position, it really isn't a great tank for that. It is one of those tanks, like kind of like a Batchat in a way. I know a Batchat's an auto loader, but the Batchat is kind of very, very similar. Get into position, spot the team, and then you might have to run around the map, because that is what a light tank is, to get around the map. It's got the mobility, get around the map very, very quickly, and that is exactly what Josh here, Help I'm a Bug, did this game. He went one side, he then went to the middle, he went to the other side, he chased other tanks back to the other side, using it as a proper light tank. And when you use the tank like that, it probably maybe feels a bit better than the tank is. But there is nothing wrong with the tank. It doesn't really fit my playstyle, but I can understand people not liking it. But I can also understand people loving it. So make up your own mind. What do you think on the new Chinese light tank in Tier 9, the WZ-132A? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69. Give me a subscribe. We want to get to 65,000 subscribers. Help me get there. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. With